This interview with Cam Newton and Jason Wilson was absolutely incredible. The interview is almost 2 hours. I'll drop the link in the description if you want to watch it for yourself. It is very enlightening. I challenge you to watch it all the way through and listen and absorb.
In this particular situation, it's easy for a person to condemn. It's easy for a person to kind of look at a situation and say what they wouldn't do without having the opportunity to do. Shannon Sharpe was a person who got exposed by an opportunist, some would say. Some would also say, hey, no, what he did was not right. He has to be held responsible for his actions. The thing that I always have as a resource in my life is my father. My father has been married for 40 plus years. He tells us that every Sunday dinner, right? My mother only knows my father. My mother's father introduced my father to his calling as a pastor. And when we have heart-to-heart conversations about my inability to get married or settle down, the things that are kind of brushed away is like, oh, you don't have self-control. You don't have discipline. But I ask this, and I say it to you also too, Mr. Jason. When you go certain places, like people really wouldn't know who you are, respectfully.
You're wrong. No, but go ahead. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm trying to have a conversation.
I'm just trying to make a point.
Yes, sir.
And the point is, when you talk or when there's discussions about how a man can fall victim,
yes,
it's and let me go back because that did not sound right.
No, I appreciate it. I know where you're
going. I'm not talking to you per se, but I'm talking
to the average man, right?
No. These are conversations that I have with my father.
No. I'm saying listen, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciated what you said.
Yeah.
I apologize for interrupting.
Yeah.
I'm saying I understand where you're going, meaning you brothers, the temptation is greater. Am I correct?
No, that is absolutely right.
Okay, great.
But it's one of those things that when I have these discussions with my father, a person who is the most influential person in my life, there's not things where it's like, yeah, but it's always with a but though. And going like, this is the topic of Shannon Sharpe, right? And I'm not saying what Shannon Sharpe was good, bad, or indifferent. What I am saying is I can relate to falling victim to the lust. And through that, when going back to the discussion of like, hey, when you go places, nobody really would know. But for me, that's a part of my lifestyle, mixing, mingling.
But what does that really mean, though? I mean, and all to me, based off that statement, all the more reason I feel like he would be more guarded because of who he is, his notoriety, his, acquired success. People, know him from all over the world. An amazing football player. But prior to this, they were really discussing, Shannon Sharpe and what happened in that situation. But in this situation, they're talking about temptation. And this is a key point. This is a very, very major factor of why there are so many fatherless homes because of the lack of temptation. And what I mean by that is it's okay to have a child. However, it's not okay to have a child and not be a part of the child's life. And it's more advantageous for the development of the child as well as the emotional state of the man and the woman for you to marry. That's why God created it that way. not to have a kid here, I have a kid here, and I have a kid here. So because you are notable and people are know you, and women are, have many women don't have true intentions, then you are, going to be, women are on the hunt, are looking for men like Cam Newton. But do you have to be tempted? And why aren't you waiting for the right one, the one that you can marry? And maybe the others, the women that have had his, who have his children, maybe they were the right ones, but he wasn't ready to make the commitment. Nevertheless, do you feel like, what do you feel? Do you feel that just because you're going to be known wherever you go, it's going to be harder for you to resist as a man? What do you think?
Networking, being in different places and saying, hey, man, we got to go to dinner. Dinner leads to different opportunities.
True.
Hey, let's talk about business. All right, cool. Whether it's on a golf course, whether it's in a conference room, whether it's at a bar, whether it's wherever. Business can be taking place any place. And I think the tough part is when you're actually in that situation, if you knew what you will find out, you definitely wouldn't do. But to say, hey, you don't have discipline, that's a little triggering given the circumstances that one person has been in versus another person being in. And that's all I say.
Okay, good. You were wrong about me going places and not being recognized. Maybe not to your level, of course.
But that is true. Yes, you are so disciplined to be able to have acquired this certain level of success, to be a professional football player in the NFL. Discipline is like, those men take it to another level because it is brutal for the level of training that they go through, the things, and playing in a game and the intensity of the sport. So we know you have acquired a level of discipline in a category, but you got 3 baby mamas, bruh. So where is the lack of discipline here? Come on, talk to me, brothers. What y'all thinking? What are y'all thinking? This is a good point.
It shouldn't be as equal as that. But I've been in situations in LA with my brother Matt Barnes and my good friend Vic, smooth brother as well. Women literally like, where y'all from? What you do? Brother the janitor, buff at a school. Teachers want to holler at him, same temptation. I've been in situations where I'm talking in rooms with women, wanting a man who can actually tap into her inner being, her thoughts, that isn't just a monofaceted male or a male with just one gear. All he can do is hump on her. I work with single mothers with their sons, helping their sons navigate through their father wounds and even mother wounds and failing in school. You think there's no temptation of women trying to come on me?
We all have temptation.
Yeah, but
the degree of temptation.
But see,
That
man,
doesn't matter.
How old are you, Cam?
Like 53.
I'm gonna turn that around 35.
Close.
All right. So
58.
you're young enough to be my son, and I say that respectfully because you got an amazing father. David told Solomon before he died to show himself a man. When I look at you and what you've accomplished on the field of football, you're a warrior, son. I don't care what position I put you in, you'll handle it if you trained right. The issue isn't, son, that you lack discipline. You've shown that. You're here now. You got discipline. You got self-control. Look at all you've accomplished. What you lacking is the self-love piece. Things have happened in your life that triggered what's happening now. The Super Bowl, for instance, which I, again, salute you for being transparent. Everyone can talk about why didn't he jump on the ball? Why didn't... Not...
I don't want to skate past that. And it's wrapping up this point. and then I have one more point that I want us to discuss. But that I think is one pivotal. That is one pivotal, one very important key factor to me why there are so many men who are not making the commitment, because whatever that thing is that happened in their life, it reflects the lack of self-love. That is the root. That is the root. We're not going to get on slavery because we know that there are many things that stemmed from slavery when the man was pulled away from the woman. And then the mom was left for the child. Okay, post-slavery. Families were at an all-time high, especially in the Black community, post-slavery. They were doing extremely well. And what came into play? The New Deal, the welfare system, where fathers were not able to be in the home. So that also could be a root of why it may still be trickling throughout the DNA. However, there is accountability and there's choice. And I really wanted to know as a woman, what makes a man want to be with a woman and then not accept responsibility to marry, as well as raise your offspring together. And this, I never even thought about it because it just always tied to me back to the root, the roots of slavery. We hear that so much. But even outside of that, when you're in 2025, and we know and what we learn about post-slavery, how the Black family was thriving very well, high percentage of families. It was 80%. It was 80%, 80 to 85% of Black families were together, mom and dad in the home, post-slavery. So can we still say that is that? No, I don't think we can. I think it has to do with the lack of self-love or whatever the wound is tied from the individual man. This is good. Brothers, what do you think? And women, how do you feel about this?
One thing you say is your analogy you were saying, what I can't relate to is being in Super Bowl 50, right?
Yes, sir.
Beast quarterback. You were my son's top dog.
Yes, sir.
Everyone was pulling for y'all to win, that I knew in my sphere of influence. I ain't never been in that position. Millions of people watching. Ball gets knocked out of my hand. Just that moment of hesitation, like I teach in fighting, self-defense. The guy has a knife. This moment of this will get you killed. You got to respond. In that moment, because I watched it again, hearing the commentators like, now that's applicable. You put them in that situation, that's different. That's high pressure. But I share all of that to say, brother, every man, this is a good analogy, has the ball knocked out of their hands sometime, and we hesitate to dive on it. In life, that could be like for me, I use myself for example. I got my wife now, Nicole, pregnant out of wedlock, very dishonorable to her father, who was a pastor. Instead of, I did hesitate. It took me over 4 years to marry this woman. I wasted so much time. We've been married 27 years. But I finally dove on the ball. What I'm saying is, son, is that situation was so heavy. I'm just watching it today. If you haven't really unpacked that, like really, it will morph into other areas in your life where you hesitate. I talk to a lot of men.
Okay, so this is the whole point, the first point I wanted to discuss. And I think that was so good. And that was a very, that experience that Cam had is a life long, memorable experience, I'm sure. And he said, Jason said, if you have not unpacked that really, like, no, really dug in, taken a deep dive, unpacked layer by layer, could be spilling over in other areas of your life, which fast forward 3 kids later, 3 baby mamas. That's where I feel like he was going. And a little bit further after this, Cam says he's unpacked that. But my question is, has he really? And I'm tying this in to say the trauma that men have. If not unpacked it spills over to every other area in their life and could really explain why there's so many fatherless homes in the Black community. Okay, now the one more point, and we're going to chop this up fully at the end. I think this is good.
The thing that I have an issue with is I knew and know right from wrong. I just don't always do right.
What the scriptures say about that?
That's big. That's big.
It's the basic definition of sin. To know the right thing to do and not do it, to him that is sin. So if I'm talking to you, my son, as a young man of the Most High, you got to change that.
Yeah, but it also says in the Bible we all fall short of his glory.
But it also says that we are not to abuse his grace.
Yeah, and I also say we could go back and forth.
Yeah, and so what does it really come down to? It comes down to who's really living it and who's just talking it.
And you can talk it, but if I ain't with you every single day, I can't hold you accountable.
Come to Detroit.
No, I don't want to go to Detroit.
But real talk though, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but see again,
every case is different.
No, but I hear what he's saying, but his life, Jason specifically, reflects what he talks, meaning he's married. I have not heard of any infidelity. I don't think he's ever stepped out on his wife. So you can be talking it, and walking it and talking it are 2 different things. However, if you can tell a person by their fruit. Look at his fruit. Look at the fruit in his life. What type of man is he? I mean, his life is showing you that he is talking and he's walking it out.
Listen, brother, there's always a principle to everything. When you look at lust, brother, it just is what it is.
It is.
It affects all walks of life. It even affected Job, that he made a covenant with his eyes that he wouldn't look lustfully at a woman, and they don't dress the way they do now as they did back then.
That's not realistic in my life, though.
What's not realistic?
To not look at a woman?
Lustfully was the key word.
Yeah, but how can you control if you look at something?
Fear of Yah is the beginning of all wisdom and knowledge.
Come on.
See, if we were coaching right, and I'm saying, Cam, man, I need you to, and I'm not a fanatic. I'm not in the sports.
I'm with you. I'll make you
so
right.
I'm trying to make. So if I don't sound like I know football, forgive me, brother.
Trust me,
But if my play is, Cam, I need you to quarterback sneak it from the 20-yard line to the 50.
That's a hell of a touch.
Yeah. Now, where you're communicating with me, I can't do that. I ain't never been. That's ridiculous. It's impossible to do that.
No, I never said it's impossible.
But I
said that's not realistic.
If it's not realistic, meaning it can't happen.
Right. Which also means it's impossible.
If it's not realistic.
Mr. Jason.
Right?
Do you know my reality?
Tell me your reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have 3 baby mamas.
Okay.
Right?
Do I need some paper and a pen?
No, you don't.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just joking, man.
You feel me?
Yeah, come on. Go
3
ahead.
baby mamas.
Yes, sir.
I've been labeled a homebreaker. Why you creating broken homes? Why you ain't marrying none of these women?
Okay.
But the reality that you have that covenant with your wife, 25, 26 years.
7.
27. Your journey is completely different than my journey. All right? I've always stood on this principle.
But is that so? Yes, you do have a level of notoriety, but is the journey really different? And you may have encounters and situations that Jason doesn't have because no, he's not Cam Newton. But he also has a level of notoriety, and he's been married for 27 years. So does that really make you that different? He has situations, I'm sure, where he's been approached. He could have been in some situations where he's out, he's networking, he's at function, he speaks at large, high profile events. So what does that mean? That does not give you an excuse to say, this is my life. Do you know my situation? Pretty much, do you know who I am and what I go through? That don't mean that means a hill of beans, bro. You still have the power to say no, to reject the situation that's not going to propel you forward with the woman in marriage. You can still say no. So what do you think about that? Put that in the comment section. How do you feel about this part here? The lust. That's the key. That is the key problem. The lust. The lust.
Because like I said, I know right from wrong. I just don't always do right. I had a great figure
But you can.
of what marriage and love was in my household. So much so, I always said I grew up with 3-parent household. My mom, my dad, my grandmother. My grandmother, I'd never seen my grandmother with another man outside of her deceased husband. She was a widow. I never seen her seductive. I even never seen her flirt. Never seen her even let another man touch her respectfully. I knew these things. But as you unpack your reality, and marrying is always a goal, not the goal. It's a goal.
What do you mean? You pointed to something. What do you mean by? What did you point?
Like it's a part of the journey. It's like a checkpoint.
Okay, let me go back then. First, I want to clarify. I know the right things to do as well, and don't always do it. Hence why we have repentance in the blood of Christ. All right? I wanted to make that clear. Like, I'm not sitting here like I get it all right all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
As far as falling in that area of a lack of sexual self-control, I've been fighting really hard to maintain where I am. I want to finish strong. Now, let's just say, okay, my life isn't the same as yours, okay? I would agree the fact that you can go maybe to the mall and women just throw themselves at you, right? I got to go back to who we are in Yah, if you in Yah, all right? To whom much is given, much is required. If you got much more, you've been entrusted with much more will be demanded. You can't just brush that off.
Right.
Because you're telling me your life is different than mine, which is almost, you're not saying it's an excuse for sinning?
But he is, to a
We all
degree.
sin. Your sin, and no sin greater than the next one.
Hebrews chapter 10, 26. The one who willingly sins, willingly is the key word, there no longer remains a sacrifice for his sins. So if I go out here and kill everybody in this room and don't repent, where am I going, brother? It is written that our name could be taken out of the book of life. So I go back again. You have been given and entrusted with much. You have. To whom much is given, much more will be demanded.
But I'm not saying that, and I don't want people to, especially you as we're having this conversation, I don't want people to take that as I'm better than, or it's
I'm sorry. Can I just be clear? I'm sorry. I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm saying. You just when we met before here, you don't even give that vibe, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. I didn't mean that. What I'm meaning is when you say your life is different than mine.
Different.
I'm talking about the temptation. Let's stay on topic. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Brother, it's a gift of who you are, what you've been through, and your influence.
Right.
It's supposed to be used for the kingdom.
Yes.
Samson's strength was for the kingdom, but he laid with the wrong woman.
Delilah.
Yeah, and she took him out. And he prayed, Abba, give me strength one more time, and I'll crush all these Philistines. He died before his time. The scripture says, you be overly foolish, you'll die before your time.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying to you is this. I agree with you. I can't sit here and say, people will recognize me, but if you walk somewhere publicly, and I walk somewhere publicly, I may get to where I'm going. No, I will get to where I'm going faster than you would.
Yeah.
People will stop you.
I think I was saying that to the individual that are not graceful with what has happened, right? Going back to the Shannon Sharp situation.
Okay.
Well, for me, as I'm talking about my reality, right? Knowing right from wrong and not always choosing right, my fear of divorce is greater than my desire to get married.
So give me that. I appreciate you saying that.
And that, we're going to stop right there. And maybe that is why there are so many fatherless homes, single women who are not married, who've never been married and have a child with the man and they don't marry. Could it be because the man is in fear of divorce? And I'm truly not making no excuses. Y'all already know how we move over here. We are not making any excuses. But I like how Jason brought it back around to say, okay, I'm going to get to where I'm going. And you might get there where you going, but it's going to take you a lot longer because you're going to get stopped way more than I'm going to get stopped. Even though I'm still going to get stopped, but I choose to continue on my journey. Whereas you may not continue to choose. You allow the temptation to trip you up. And you have 3 children from those temptations. Or is it because he has feared divorce, which may be why he chose not to marry one of his children's mother? What do you think? This was so good. And I really like the fact that it's bringing light on some things about our young men. And Cam ain't no spring chicken, but he's still a young man. And he's very impactful to other young men. His podcast is really, really, really good. But I think it sheds some light in a little bit of explanation and understanding as why there may be a lot of baby mamas and baby daddies in our community. What do you all think? Let's get in this comment section. I am definitely dropping this link in the description. Watch the full interview. How do you feel about this? And do you believe some of what he's saying is true? Or do you feel like he's making excuses? Do you feel like he's making excuses as to why he cannot yet make a commitment? I just don't believe that he's been approached by women who weren't at his caliber, who did not have just as much to offer on the emotional realm as well as the physical realm. But let's say emotional realm is where he seems to be falling short, which ties in to the Cardi B video about the married man being approached by single women. Go watch that video, guys, if you haven't watched it already, because it's tying it all together. And this is so relevant. And we need to tap into the root. You know, on this channel, it's about having these uncomfortable conversations, but getting to the point of problem solving. Why do we continue to have the same problem year after year after year when it hasn't always been this way in the Black community? Come on. We can't keep going back to slavery now. Come on. We can't. That's not an excuse no more. When especially post-slavery, 80% of Black families were together. So that debunks the issue with slavery. Here it is, 2025. We in the worst state that we've ever been. Statistically. And you can look on TV and see it. Let's just not say, oh, the news gonna report anything and they just gonna say that. That's a hill of beans. Cut all that out. Cut it out. Let's look and see the state of mind and see what's really going on. Tap in here. It's time to have homes, complete homes, families. So this trajectory can be changed. But now we're getting to some of the root issues in 2025. With what is going on in our community, especially dealing with single moms, fatherless homes, and some of the areas that may impact Black men as to why they don't want to make a commitment. Okay, y'all. I love you guys. I truly appreciate your support. Let me know, brothers, what you think about this in the comment section. And ladies, sisters, you as well. I'll see you in the next video.
Start to apply the pressure listening to a 45-minute lecture. Intellectualism is conceptualism.